There's a moment in everyone's life when they realize they've finally gone too far. For me, it was watching as Hacker Jaxx's smug little empire came crashing down, all because Nyara Voss, decided to play the game by her own rules. It started in the shadows of an online coding forum, the kind where anonymity is sacrosanct, but expertise is demanded. I was there, like countless others, to share knowledge, trade tips, and occasionally, on restless nights, flex skills. It was like our digital coliseum, where one's reputation was both armor and Achilles' heel. Hacker Jaxx, as she was known, was queen of this domain. Infamous for her talent and notorious for her attitude, she was a digital Robin Hood gone rogue. She thrived by devising traps for unsuspecting crypto investors, spiriting away their funds with a sneer and a code snippet. The community had always been divided about her antics. Some admired the audacity, others loathed the chaos she sown. My introduction to Jaxx's world of mosaic moralities was abrupt. I had just debuted a modest piece of code I'd been working on, a snippet meant to optimize certain blockchain processes. Its simplicity masked its complexity, and while I expected maybe a nod from a few peers, I instead found myself under the intense scrutiny of Jaxx herself. She dismissed it as child's play, but with a sort of keenness that suggested other intentions. Days later, I learned why. A fellow coder pinged me, panicked. The very code I'd posted had been repurposed into Jaxx's latest heist, a scam cloaked as a charity fund. Users were duped into thinking they were donating to a noble cause, only to see their investments vanish into the ether, fattening Jaxx's wallet. Anger laced through my veins like venom. It wasn't just the theft that enraged me, it was the mockery of my work, the disdain for my contribution twisted into something vile. My mind was a storm as I tried to focus on anything but the injustice. But the nights stretched long, and the thought of Jaxx's smug satisfaction kept me awake. I had to do something. Drawing on every ounce of my technical prowess, I began to craft a plan. I studied Jaxx's code, tracing her digital footsteps until I felt I understood the very rhythm of her thoughts. Each line of her code was a breadcrumb, leading me to a trap I planned to reverse. The goal was simple, yet audacious: turn Jaxx's latest scam into a downfall. I decided her wallet would become the source of its own irony. I developed a script designed to intercept transactions from Jaxx's original program, redirecting them not back to her, but to the charity she had mocked. It would be a karma stunt, one that required precision and a gamble with fate. For a week, I lived a double life. By day, I was Nyara Voss, software developer. By night, I was the orchestrator of what I knew could be my own undoing. Each time I logged into the forum, my heart pounded, not from fear of discovery, but from the thrill of rewriting the rules. The night came when everything was in place. I launched my countermaneuver, a digital David against Goliath, and braced myself. The minutes stretched like hours. My code wove through the digital corridors like a whisper, invisibly altering the course of transactions. And then, the notifications started trickling in. Users began commenting, questioning anomalies in their transaction logs. They mentioned unexpected deposits, not losses. Confusion reigned, and the forum buzzed with speculation. Jaxx's silence was deafening, a rarity that spoke volumes. I watched, a mixture of nerves and triumph coursing through me as news of the reversed scam spread like wildfire. The charity, having been oblivious to its role in this unfolding drama, publicly thanked an anonymous benefactor for the sudden influx of donations. The irony was delicious. When Jaxx finally reappeared, her fury was palpable even through the screen. She accused faceless adversaries, her bravado crumbling as she failed to identify who had turned the tables. I felt a thrill of vindication, but also an unexpected pang of empathy. Jaxx had built her throne on sand, and now it was sinking. In the aftermath, I found myself reflecting on what I had done. I had pulled the rug from under a Tut. In doing so, I had crossed a line and I never thought I'd approach. My actions, though justified in my mind, were still actions of deceit and manipulation. I hadn't taken any money for myself, but I had danced with the same shadows that once haunted my dreams. If you're loving this story, smash that subscribe button and hit the bell so you never miss another one. Yet there was a quiet satisfaction in knowing that for once, the underdog had reshaped the story. In the world of zeros and ones, where power is coded in silence, I had made a noise loud enough to shift the balance, if only slightly. Jaxx faded from the forum in the weeks that followed. Her silence was replaced by a different kind of dialogue, one about ethics, about the responsibility we held as creators of the digital fabric. Some speculated she would rise again, using a new alias and perhaps a lesson learned. I like to think she did. As for me, I went back to my regular contributions, channeling my skills into something less volatile, but perhaps more impactful. The incident remained a secret, a story untold to anyone in my circle, existing only as an echo in the forum's history, and a lesson etched in my mind. Sometimes when I sit back to admire a fresh piece of code, I think about the fragile boundaries we tread in our pursuit of mastery. The lines of code are more than just pathways and logic. They are extensions of our choices, our morals. In the end, I realized that coding your downfall doesn't just apply to those like Jaxx. It's a reminder that we're all just a few keystrokes away from crossing lines, crafting victories or defeats, and deciding ultimately what kind of story we want to tell.